Morning, another weekend. So what I'm going to be carrying on with today, I've been putting insulation between the counter battens. I've nearly finished this room. I'm going to be continuing with that and then forming all the gaps up and everything. So I had building inspector in to examine all the first fix, plumbing, electrical works. It was all right with everything, but a couple of things I'm not so happy about. That's a door into the bathroom. It's just in a little lobby there. And because I've made an allowance for disabled handrails, he said bathroom doors now have to open outwards. So the only thing which worries me, that's going to open outwards. If anybody's coming out that room there or this one, you get smacked in the face. The idea is that nobody, if there's anybody in there and they fall behind the door, they're not jammed against it. So I don't like the idea of having the door opening outwards onto that lobby. I think it causes more problems than what it solves. So what I'm thinking of doing is make that a sliding door so that it comes this way onto the wall. I think it'll be a lot tidier. The only thing which I need to look at, as I'm not sure about, is how it seals for sound. You know, if there's somebody in here and you've got gaps all the way around the bathroom door, the last thing you want to be hearing is somebody having a poo or having a wee, do you really? You want a bit of privacy. It isn't so bad if you live on your own or you're a couple, I suppose, but if you've got visitors. So I just need to look into that, and my thoughts are a sliding door. And the other one I definitely was not happy about, and I was sort of expecting it and sort of not. I've got to put a spyglass in there, a peephole, so that when anybody's here, when the door's shut, you can look through the peephole and you can see them. I've said I'm not drilling the door, so the way out of it, I'm going to change this opaque pane of glass for a piece of clear glass, and when he does his inspection, you'll be able to see out, so that's fine. I'll get the pass, and then when the inspection's done, I'll just swap the glass back over. So that's that, and another couple of things which I've got to do. That's got to be changed to a thumb turn, and I've got to drill the door for a chain and have a chain put on. I sort of get it, because the law says you've got to have it, but I don't know why they enforce on you things what you really do not want. I don't want a chain on it. I don't want to drill the door. A chain might suit some people, but I don't want it. It'll never get used. I'll put it on for the inspection, and then the very first thing I'll do is take it off. But then I've got holes in the door, so it's crap. Right, I'm going to make myself a quick cup of tea because it's about 7:05, and then I'm going to come and get on with it. When I'm fastening the insulation up, I use these insulation clips, these discs. But a 4-inch nail I find is really hard to nail in because they're so thick. So what I've been using is the 90mm nails. off my air gun. These, because they're a lot thinner and they nail in nicely. But they're all on the strips together, held together. So I've been separating all the nails. It's been nice just sat on my wall on an evening for 10 minutes just doing a load. But it makes such a big difference for putting the discs in. Another thing what I like to do when I'm cutting this insulation, I lay my trestles on the side, my saw stools on the side, and it's a lot lower and it's a lot nicer level for cutting and marking and everything. And there's nothing what says you can't lay your trestles on the side. You ought to try it if you've got any, because it just makes a world of difference. Another couple of things I can't stress enough is, glasses. When you're underneath these sheets of insulation and you're looking up for nailing, you got all the insulation coming down, and it's not good when it gets in your eyes. And another thing is, make sure you know where all your wires are. You can see where there's that gap there, and they go. The last thing you want to be doing is nailing a nail through any cables, so just make sure you have good cable management. Well, rain stops play. Oh, we're doing so well. Well, I've only just started, and I'm wanting to cut my insulation outside only for the reason is I don't want to be working all the dust inside here. I've been able to keep it clean and dust free up till now, and I don't have to do it today. I don't have to do it right this minute. If I'd have been doing this for a job for somebody, which I wouldn't be doing, but if I was, I'd have set myself a shelter, a tarpaulin up outside, or I'd have been cutting in here. This is one of the trickiest bits and bobs. You saw the cables up there. Just trying to cut your insulation around all the cables. Just trying to make sure you get as much insulation up there as you can. I've got in here done. I've been on within there. I've put my expanding foam in, but except where the cables are, I won't foam up any of them. There's a few little places where the cables are. I'll stick some Rockwall in there. Morning. Ready for another day. So I've more or less got all the second row of insulation done throughout. I've just got some odd pieces to go in. I need to stick insulation in the gaps where all the cables run, because I don't want foam in them. You know, up there I'll just stick Rockwall in. And then I've got other gaps which I want to just put some spray foam in. All these are where lights go in. And what I'll do once the light's in, I'll put some Rockwall in, because I just need to position all the lights. So I don't want that to be absolutely solid with PIR, but I'll sort that out when I'm ready to plasterboard. I'll rock wool around all these cables and pipes, but I'll do that when I'm going to plasterboard. I've got insulation to go in around the Velux, and some at the top, which I'll sort out. I've got all my door casings here. If you can see them, they're there. I just need to rip them down on a circular saw later on. Got all my window boards to put on. I've got some brackets for sticking them all on, but I'm going to do that later on today, I hope. Right, best crack on. So I've got two different kinds of insulation. I've got 100mm acoustic insulation, and that goes in all these timber walls. That'll go everywhere. And I've just got a 25mm insulation, and that is so easy for shoving in all the gaps where the cables are. Bit dark in here. Just makes it so easy for shoving in the gaps where all the cables are. Not so big and bulky, so I'm going to do that now.
I always think this is horrible stuff, and you definitely need a mask on. So that's all there is to it. Cut it and tuck it in. You see, I'll do that anywhere where there's any cables. Like I said, I don't want foam around cables. I don't like shocking cables in, and I think, you know, you can heat up cables. There's a possibility, the last thing you want is a fire, so just like to minimise it. So I'm just foaming up, well, insulating the wall tops, got it in there, where cables come through. There's a cable up above that, done.
Let me take that off. Foam the edges up, stuck insulation where I can. All these bits are where there's cables. Cable runs up there. Cables there, and where there's foam, there's not cables. I'll put insulation in there. Once we're putting the lights in, I'll shove some in the back once I've got the lights in the plasterboard, once I've got the holes cut. So I'll sort them out later. I'm going to insulate all that with the Rockwall but I'm not going to do that till I'm starting to put my plasterboards up. One of my neighbours have said, when they saw me doing all this, I won't bother. But to me, you're putting the insulation up and you've done all that work. Why would you leave gaps? For the sake of a few hours, I just think it's worth doing. If you don't want to do it, that's up to you. That's absolutely fine. But I wanted to do it because I wanted to seal as many gaps and get as much insulation up there as I can. And then tomorrow I'll just go around with a Stanley knife and just trim off the bits of foam where it's just hanging down below the rafters. And then I'm all ready for plasterboarding. Oh, it don't take long, but you can't beat having a good hoover up when you've been using insulation, in my opinion. It just helps to get it all out of the air. Well, you know, you're not kicking it up and everything every time you come in. And I slot these timbers in, which I've painted red. I sprayed them red to make sure I don't cut them up. And that gives me my bed for my table saw, and it's not bad. I need to cut down these door casings. You always want to set your blade to just above whatever you're cutting. There's no need to have blades stuck right up here like you see people. You know, it just maximises the risk of anything happening. Just a few mil up, 3 mil. So I want to cut the casing down to 126 mil wide, which is 95 mil for the timber in the wall, which is that width. Then there'll be 2 layers of 12.5 mil plasterboard, one on either side, and then 3 mil of plaster on each side. So that's 95, 25 and 6 is 126. I want to set that red line to 126. Lock her off. And that should be 126. 126. Right then, that's all them cut down. I really did not want to use these casings with the loose stops on, only because I much prefer the look of a rebated casing. That's my own personal choice. But because I'm future proofing and I've allowed for all handrails, you know, in the shower and toilet. If they're in, they're in. When building control came, he says that the door had to open outwards. And I tried to fight it, because that's a door and that's a door. And I just think there's a lot more risk with this door opening outwards than what it gave, but I understood his reasons about getting a wheelchair in. And I really don't want to put an outward opening door. So to get through what I need to get through the final inspection, I got one with loose stops on. I'm going to make that a sliding door. So that's what them noggins are there for. So I'll put a sliding door on. I think it'll look alright with the sliding door. But the thing which worries me about the sliding door is because it doesn't seal against a door opening, and with that being a bathroom, if somebody's having a poo and you've got visitors, are they going to hear you? So I'm going to put that on for the inspection, get me through final completion notice, and then I can take it off, put a door on and put the stops on. And that was going to be a sliding door anyway. So that's why I've gone for casings with loose stops, even though I do not like them. Right, that's going to do me for today. I'm going in for my nice bread. Yesterday, I put on our local Facebook page that I had 2 pieces of Deborah netting. They're what I had going across the back of the garden to stop dust going up when we're building here. They're about 5 metres by 2 metres, and I had 2 of them. And I put it on our local Facebook group that I wanted a loaf of nice bread, but I didn't want any bread in a plastic wrapper. Anyway, lady messaged me, I'm going to get you some, can I have them? I'll go get you some nice bread. So she went to a baker's at Driffield, which is 14 miles away, brought me back this bread last night. Yes, I got it yesterday. God, it's absolutely delicious. I'll take a clip of it, but what a win-win for me. Well, and for her as well. It's a loaf of bread, what she bought me last night, and it is the most beautiful bread I've ever had. Morning. It's a dark, rainy morning outside today. So while I've got my saw set up, I'm just going to make myself a jig for making some wedges, just for putting in my door casings and my window boards. This is a piece of 6x2 that I had kicking around, so I'm going to cut it something like 300mm long. So now what I've done, I've marked out a wedge shape, and I'm just going to go cut that out with my jigsaw. There you are, so you can see I've made the wedge, and I'm now going to make a lid to sit on top of here. Now I'm going to fasten that lid on there like that. But what you've got to think about, that's where I'm going to be making my wedges. But when you're pushing that through the saw, you want the wedge to be pushing against that. So that is the way that it will go through, because that will act as a stop and stop the wood coming out. If I do it that way, every time I push this forward, the wood's going to want to come out here, which is no good. Whoa. There's my jig. There's my wedge. And I can just wheel them up, just cut one after the other now. So I'm going to cut a few. Right, so while I've had my saw out, I've thought, oh, I'll sort out a window sill. So what I've done, measured the width of this, added on for some adhesive, added on for a board, added on for a bit of nosing, and then I've trimmed the board down on my saw. So there's my board, and that's how much I've trimmed off. You know, about an inch. I just thought it looked better. So I found the centre of my board. No, I found the centre of my window, from the centre of my sill, measured back to my block work, and then I've allowed 50mm there, and then I've just got my block plane, got my little plane, just rounded an edge on at both ends. Then I held up the window board in place and marked a line, put my pencil underneath, marked a line, that's my block work. I've then come in 100mm at the end, and then that strap will sit on there so that that face is just beyond that line. I've done the same there and one in the middle, so I'll have 3 straps. I've put these packers on, they're just dry, at the height of where I want the sill, at the back. There's nothing any worse than MDF in moisture. So I've got my sills all pre-primed, but where I've cut it all down this morning, I'm just going to give it a coat of undercoat. I set my packers up at the back in there, which the sill is sat on. Then the wedges, what I cut this morning, I've got a wedge in there and a wedge in there, and they have levelled up the sill backwards and forwards. So I'm not bad there. Not bad there. And I'm not bad there. No rocking in that at all. So I'm going to get these drilled and fastened in, these straps, and then I'm going to get it all foamed up underneath. Before I set that in by that sill, I did hoover up yesterday, so I got all the dust off. Then I have given it the cavity closer and the block work just to wipe down with the cloth in that bit of water, just to try and slack any dust. Like these Fisher Duo power plugs, especially in aerated blocks. They're definitely not the world's cheapest, but they give you a really good grip. Yeah, I'm screwing in with me Yankee screwdriver. A lot of the young pups won't remember these. These were our electric driver drills. I've got a few of these and some long ones. You always just had to watch your fingers if it jumped out the screw or damage to whatever you were screwing into. But I still enjoy using them. And yeah, I've got a battery drill here, but I want to do this. Right, so I've got that screwed up. I've put a couple of blocks on just to help weight it down while I put the expanding foam under. I'm still level. Still okay there. Still okay there. So now I'm gonna get my expanding foam under there. You can see it's clean because I cleaned it all out. Blocks will just help up. The blocks will just help keep the sill down while the expanding foam all cures and does its job. That's me done for today. I've got some other things I want to go do. So I'll put another sill on there. Got it all foamed up. Next time I'm going to make me door casings. I've trimmed them down. Some more sills to go on. And I'm going to, I just want to trim back all the expanding foam so it's flush with them timbers. What I did the other day. And I'm ready for plasterboarding, I think. I need to get shower tray in. The shower tray set in and the waste through the wall and that floor made good because I've got cement boards go on the walls here, and ideally I want them to sit on top of the shower tray. I want the shower tray to be in the wall so I'll get a good seal. So I need to do that as well. Oh, we're getting there. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you the next time I make another one. Thank you very much for watching.